Hello, good evening, and welcome to your Friday night show here on Four Lads Had a Dream. My name's Andrew, and I'm joined tonight by my very favourite podder, Calvin. Um, Unfortunately, not talking about a happy thing like we were the last time you and me podded together, mate. But nonetheless, we're here. We're still alive. We have that at least. And hey, it's Friday night as well. So if you can't enjoy that, then what is life, right? Obviously, we need to go back and just dwell briefly on the Motherwell game. So we'll have a chat through that, talk about the press conference today, and then we will look ahead to this weekend's game, which, if it wasn't massive before the result on Wednesday, is even bigger this weekend.
Yeah, 100%, mate. It was disappointing just to, after these comments, things that as well. Like, every game needs to come one at a time. We need to make sure we win 3 points every single time. After the setback against Hibs, that shouldn't have been a question because you already lost ground in that game. So the Motherwell game was the most important game of the season. Every game coming up is the most important game of the season. There's no point in looking to a game or 2 games down the line. Get your best 11 in the park, players that are on form, and that's all you can ask for. And it would definitely, I think things potentially would have been different, not taking anything away from Motherwell because, let's face it, they were fantastic. They're the team in form in the league. They're not conceding goals and they're actually forcing teams into playing a certain way with the way they control the ball. So, big game on Sunday. Can't take any risks. He just needs to get his best 11 on the park this time.
We'll go back and look just quickly at the Motherwell game. Obviously, I've had my say in it. I did the post-match with Mark immediately after the game. I'd like to think that after a day and a bit that I've had time to kind of calm down, reflect, and think about it differently. I'm still exactly as annoyed as I was in the immediate aftermath of that game, unfortunately. I do think it is just 2 drop points, especially with the early goal, especially with the red cards. The fact that we sat back is criminal to me. But everyone's heard my say already on it. So, Calvin, not that I think you'll have a vastly different opinion, but your thoughts on the result as a whole.
As I said, it's disappointing because after the Hibs game, you're instantly going, get 3 points. Doesn't matter how you do it. With a massive performance against Queen's Park, yes, it was Queen's Park, but that feel-good factor in the team should have been like, there's players there that need to go play. Like, for me, Rumens and Ant-Man, fantastic down the left-hand side together. It's actually a partnership that works really well. And that's not taking anything away from Magoma and Gassama. Magoma's really handled himself really well. 19-year-old kid playing for us week in, week out. But Rumens has just got that wee bit extra quality, especially going forward. It creates danger. Ant-Man finding a bit of form, looked really good on the left-hand side, where we know he plays for Finland. He started off in the right for us, but for Finland, he was Finnish Player of the Year in the national team, playing off the left, so he can drift in. One-trick pony down the right-hand side, potentially, where he's constantly hitting the byline, but he can mix it up a wee bit from the left-hand side. Scott Olsen brought in as our big signing. Surely he's got to play in that game. If he's fit, that's still the major thing, isn't it? And Naderi up front, scores 2 goals at the weekend, looks like the best striker we've got at the club. We need to score goals. Playing Naderi. Simple. That Chirnmitty miss absolutely frustrated the life out of me. For a signing of that finance to run through one-on-one, can hit anywhere in the goal, straight at the keeper. That's not a striker with confidence. He's just snatches at everything. There's no confidence in his striking. What happened to the wee flicks in that he was getting against Celtic? Like, that was a confident player. Somehow a confident player with the way he's been playing. But that's a chance. And the same happened up at Aberdeen when he went through one-on-one as well. Just really poor finishing. And it's something that he needs to learn very quickly. And that's why Naderi should have played. He's a box striker. He causes issues. Maybe he was looking at Motherwell as a chance that he's going to need to have a striker that works in a different way because they're constantly dominating the ball. But that should never have been a situation where you're worried about Motherwell. You should focus on yourself. Do what you're good at. Play your best 11. Get your 3 points. And then you can worry about who's injured, who's not got the fitness for the next game. So that's what I was kind of at with it. It was disappointing. There was too many ifs, buts, maybes and changes. And then when they did make the subs, there was just something missing for the subs. Like I said at the end of the game, like there was no real formation. There was too many players for similar positions. Too much central players, not enough going forward. Too many centre halves. It was a weird setup at the end. I think we should learn. He's an experienced coach. He's got a good football brain as a manager. So hopefully that teaches him do not mess around with that team in this run-in.
Yeah, and I touched on it briefly post-match as well on Wednesday that, now we're in an opportunity we do not need to rotate anymore. We're playing every weekend, basically. So we don't have the midweek games to worry about. I don't think there's any need to rest players, unless it's injury related. I think we can feel, the need to just go, no, we have our strongest 11. We know what our best 11 is. That's what we should be going with. And yeah, some of the subs, the more I've thought about them, especially Asgard coming on, who is a player we know, despite some of the skills that we've seen from him, despite some of the contributions he's made, he is not the type of player you want to be on when you want to shut down a game, when you want to finish off a game, because we needed a goal. 1-0 is always going to be a dangerous scoreline, especially when you're away from home, Scottish Premier League. If you do not have players who can get you goals, and Ant-Man, for all of his faults and for all, we slagged him in previous podcasts, the past couple of weeks he's been contributing. He's been getting into aggressive attacking positions, as you say, has looked much better on the left than he has on the right, and certainly I think would have offered much more than Gassama did the entire game. So yeah, it was a deeply frustrating night overall. We've picked through the bones of it enough, I think, over the course of the past couple of days. So we can only move forward now. Can't do anything about it at this stage. It's now about looking forward. We obviously had the press conference from the manager today. Covered over a fair amount of stuff, Calvin. I think it's fair to say. I think I don't want to go too hard on the manager, because although we're annoyed that he had a bad day at the office, he still got us into contention. The one thing I would say is that he's not left himself too much wiggle room. Like there's plenty of credit that's been handed out for getting us into this position, but now you're in the title race. Now you have to stay in that title race, and ultimately, as far as Rangers are concerned, second is nothing. Always will be. So you need to go ahead and kind of close out as strongly as you've started.
Yeah, and that's the thing now, because he's now got us in this position, the expectation's there again. It doesn't matter that he's took us from so far back in the table. You're now in that race. So the sentiment of you got us there is over, and I'm not slating Dyer in any way. I think what he's done is brilliant. I really like him as a coach. I think he just comes across as a really good guy. But that mindset needs to be switched with the players. And they're still hunting, they're still chasing. It's not like they're at the top of the league and that's the mentality from there. They're still chasing. They need to make sure they're in there right to the very end. They need to push the teams, take the 3 points. So I get what he's saying. He's had a great run and he's put us into that position, but season starts now. That's really it. You're now pushing for that league title. We're in the hunt, we're in the race, and we just need to drive it.
It's Rangers. It's always going to come back to, well, yeah, that's great and all, but what have you done for me lately? And that can be, even after someone scored a goal in the first half, it's like, okay, cool. But I still saw criticism of Raskin in that second half of okay, but what have you done for us lately, though? Sure, you scored a goal, but, what you done now?
As good as your next pass at Rangers, isn't it?
Exactly. And, I mean, part of that is just down to the standards that I think we should continue to hold for ourselves, because it's what winning leagues is built on. You need to stick to that, right? So we know we're going to be going into this, top 2 game. We'd much prefer to be in a situation where we were, had the chance to go top of the league, but we can still close this gap down to 2 points at the top. And that in itself has got to be a massive goal, especially knowing then you've still got 10, 11 games left where you can go ahead and, stake a claim to win this title. It's going to be a huge game, Calvin. I think, it was a minor game before, but now in the context, especially coming off of the draw, which felt like a defeat on Wednesday, it has so much more importance to us now. It has to be a game where we put out with our strongest foot forward. There should be no more. Let's take these 2 games and think about them as a whole. It should be, no, this is the next game, and therefore it's the most important game. I've got my own thoughts on what I think the lineup should be, but give me your desired lineup, if you like, how you would want to set out the team, and your thoughts behind that.
We got a simple one of Butland and goals. I'm still going to have it right back because I think Sterling breaks down when he plays right back. I'd rather have him in the running for a lot of game of the season. I also prefer him at centre back, but I think Fernandes and Giga have looked very good. Like Giga's turned around massively over since he came back for the AFCON, and it's just probably confidence in the team. I think him and Fernandes solid, gives you pace at the back. It means we can really press on the front foot. Left back Rumens, I'd go Chukwueze and I'll go Raskin, but I kind of want Dio in the team. I want Dio in the team. So I think Dio's probably been our best midfielder in the last month or two. So there, right-hand side, Scott Olsen, Moore is the 10, Antman in the left, and Naderi up front. And maybe we'd just swap Dio in for Raskin because I think Dio's offered a lot more in the last month or two. Raskin's passing's been off the boil massively for me, and he gives away too many fouls. And it's just from he rushes in too fast, which is good. He's an aggressive player, but it gets himself booked. So like him and Diomande both booked during the week, normally from silly fouls, and it happens so early. So it's a strange one. But the good thing is you've got options for people to fight for places. And it's probably why Diomande's form's improved because he's now got 2 or 3 guys around him that are fighting for that space. Whereas before, him and Raskin knew they were starting every single day of the week. And then Barron kind of knocked him off a wee bit. So that was the 11 I go with, I think.
Timing is everything. I completely agree, man. There's not a lot with your lineup I would change. I completely agree as well about the dilemma between Raskin and Diomande. I think if one starts, then you have that option of the other one on the bench, right? It means you don't weaken the squad when you change things up. Left wing's a thing for me because Gassama, I think, is technically a better player on form, but he's looked miles off of it past few weeks. And I don't know whether that's down to him having been expected to be the one who's picking up the slack. We know we've got other options now. We know that Scott Olsen is more of a threat on the right. Yeah.
Attitude as well. Like Antman's is the typical winger that just wants to get in the ball and run. Doesn't moan about anything. He'll get kicked, he'll get back and go again. Whereas Gassama just looks stroppy a lot of the time. And I think form's affected that as well because he knows he's not doing as well as we did at the start of the season when he was playing a smile on his face.
Yeah.
And that's what I changed because every time you're taking off, it's the arms up, the throwing about. And I hate seeing that. You're playing at Rangers, you're there to win. If you're starting to not pull your weight in the starting 11, you've got to come off, somebody else will take your place. That should drive you on to do better. Don't sit there and moan and slop that you've been taken off. Do something to stay in the part then. That's the simple answer to it.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I think how I would probably do that is I'd agree and start Ant-Man on the left, but I think Gassama's a good option to come on when the teams are more worn out, when, you've played against Hearts, if we play with the intensity that I want us to, and Hearts should be feeling it a little bit later on. And that's a perfect opportunity for a winger to come on who wants to run at, teams and make stuff happen. Gassama always wants to come inside, but that's absolutely fine if it's against Hearts and we expect it to be a high-tempo game. That's what I want to see from us. I think that's what Hearts will try and do to us. McInnes' reputation aside, I think how Hearts have played has been that kind of forward-thinking, attack-minded play. They're still the top goal scorers in this league in terms of goals scored. So that's there for a reason. We know we're going to have to do well. They've got a good defense as well. It's slightly worse than ours, but there's 1 or 2 goals in it. So we know that it's going to be more difficult to break them down. Certainly not expecting your 8-0s anymore. And I agree with the striking choice up top. Miovski, I don't think, has offered enough, although he's been contributing more. Chimiti is still riding high off of exploits at the start of this year, and we're halfway through February now. He's not done anything really since then, unfortunately.
But it's been a goal scorer.
Yeah, exactly. So completely agree on the Deary and Scott Olsen on the right. More as a 10 as well. Completely agree. So yeah, I think that midfield's the only kind of debatable point. Centre-back pairing as well. I absolutely Fernandes for sure because of the threat that he offers. And then it's a question of, for me, between Giga and Suter. But again, it's that thing of, you don't have one, then you can bring one on later on as a swap. And that keeps the team relatively strong as well.
I think there's injuries as well sometimes. So it's nice having somebody there that you can rely on to not be injured. Because we'll probably get to the biggest point of the season, and then Souttar's calf will go, and you're going, nobody else has played for the last 3 months. So it's why they think with Sterling. That's why I'm always locked up with Sterling in the team, because all it takes is one injury, and then you're changing the full thing again.
Exactly. I can't believe neither of us picked Aaron's as well to go on at right back. That's maybe a reflection on where he's at.
Anyway, so we don't have that choice.
And the thing is, in a team that's working well, Aaron's I don't mind too much, because if it is a team that's pushing forward and attacking, he's less inclined to pass back. It's when we revert back into our exactly. He'll actually pass it forward for a change.
You never know.
That's true. That's true. Maybe bring in Kelly. Maybe it's Kelly's time to shine. Who knows?
Oh, don't know.
So yeah, we know it's going to be a massive game. I don't know what else we have to say about that. Really, we know how important it's going to be. I don't think we can get caught up and focus on results that are happening elsewhere. I think that was one point of Danny Rolls that I agreed with pre the Motherwell game, which is you can't get too focused on what other teams are doing. Of course, we're fans. We're always going to keep an eye on it, but you can't get invested. All we can control as Rangers is what we do as a team. You cannot be exactly. We know who we've got to play. Other teams are going to have to go to Motherwell, who are competing for us at the title. They'll get a hard game there. Celtic and Hearts have still got to play each other as well. So there's twists and turns to come in this league race. Certainly, I don't think there's any. For me, it's definitely not over, because there's still too much road to go. And the fact that we're still competing in a league race at this time of the season is still a novelty, quite frankly, based on how things have gone in previous years. But I'm excited about it. I think that's the difference. We've had far too many weeks where we've been sitting on the kind of weekend coming into it and going, oh, this game's going to fucking be a tough one this weekend. I think it still will be tough, but I'm looking forward to it, because I think that if we have the right starting 11, if we start with a better team, with a stronger team, because that's what we had to do in January. We had to strengthen this team. We brought in strength to it in terms of getting more skilled players. If we start with that strength, then I think we'll be in for a much better time. We'll feel a lot happier when it comes.
Yeah, and I think the good way to look at it is, between us and Celtic and Hearts, we've started to play each other 4 times, and that's for each team, really. So there's plenty of turns that are going to happen. Let's say, if we just take it as the 2 draws there, that's our blip in form, and that's what the players need to see it as. That's the blip in form. That's their wake-up call. That's their motivation to go and win 3 points every single week now. So they need to just put it as their season starts now. Chase down the points, win your games, you can go top of the league. And that's just the point they need to get drawn into some of the players. I think we've got too many players there that probably haven't been in a title race, or they've been disappointed in a title race before. They need to find that motivation that gets them through it. And we should have a bit more experience there. Chukwuani's won the league title with Strumgratz last year. Scott Wilson's won a league title with Bruges. Tavernier's obviously won it with us. Souttar's won cups with us now. Butland's won cup with us now. So they have had a chance to get a bit of success and try and use that as their driving force to get through. And I think it's something they just need to drill into the team. Danny Rowe's got experience of winning trophies where he's been as well. They need to just find that wee bit of form, that wee bit of take that doubt out of them. I think that's always something that hangs over this team. There's a bit of doubt in their performance once they get right into that race again. Because they're chasing it up, comfortable, they were performing well, they dug out results, and now they're there. It's like they're flapped a wee bit. And it kind of looked like that in the performance. There was just a lack of confidence on the park. I thought Motherwell played very, very well and put them into that situation because they just took control of the ball, and what their manager's done there has been brilliant. So I think we need to be respectful of that they played very, very well on the night, even with 10 men. But did we let them get in that position? Did we let them push us back? Did we sit too far deep? Were we too negative? Things like that. So that's what they need to kind of flip when they go into these games. Hearts, for me, they're not in great form, but they're grinding out results, much like we were a few weeks ago. They've lost some key players at this stage. So we need to make sure we put them under pressure. They should go tackle like we did against Queen's Park. Treat them like that. Put them under pressure for the start. High tempo, loads of high energy. Make chances happen. because that was what we really liked at Queen's Park. Yes, the opposition wasn't as good, but we created our own luck that day. We won every battle. We wanted everything more. And that's what it needs to be like on Sunday.
I could not agree more, mate. Genuinely, I think the approach, again, all the caveats that it's a different level of opposition, it's still the style of play I want to see us going for. I'll always take boring results over anything else because I love a boring result. Win's a win.
Every single week now.
exactly. 2-0 win all the way every game. That'll do us, you know.
Squeaky bum time last 5 minutes all the time.
Exactly. But I would still much rather take that than, you know, going out and, you know, winning 5-3 or something insane like that, because that'll just give me a heart attack before we get to the end of the season, you know. I think you're right. The attacking philosophy has to be the one. It has to be high tempo. Hearts, despite the loss of Devlin and Shankland, I think are still more than capable of doing damage to us. Our defence is still one of the strongest in the leagues, but we know there's brain farts in there. We know that it just takes one mistake and we can end up throwing one in. So we know we have to be on the front foot. I don't think we can rely on the defence, especially given how the midweek game turned out. We knew what happens when we sit back and just invite pressure onto us. All it takes is one lucky break.
But then again, there was a lack of concentration. Like Welsh had far too much space when he gets that chance. It came out, it came back across. Suter was nowhere near him. And this sums up our defence over the last few seasons. We never really concede a well-worked goal in general. We concede one for our own mistake or our own lack of concentration. And they need to come out fast. Obviously, if you've got a bit of youth at the back with Fernandez, not even really that young, but in terms of like the level where he's playing at now, him and Giga's got Champions League experience when he was like 19-year-old. So they shouldn't be in a position where it's lack of concentration, simple mistakes. They know what's at stake now. They just need to win everything that comes near them and make sure they don't let their man drift away. And it's just but concentration 99% of the time. Stay tight, make the right decisions. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, I think the other thing for me is I want to see us being better about holding onto the ball. One of the most interesting stats that came out of that Motherwell game was the lack of pass completion. I think we had something like 68% or something insane like that. Like,
I think it would have been the same against Hibs as well, because that first half, I don't think we made a pass.
Yeah. And that's like 2 of your 3 passes work. That's 1 in 3 passes you're fucking up. That's not good, lads. That's quite bad. So yeah, we need to be more careful with the ball. And we're at home. That's the difference as well. You know, we're not at Motherwell, we are at home. I want us to be putting on a show for the fans who are turning up there. I don't know what the weather's been like day to day in Scotland, but it's not exactly been happy and sunny down here in England. So I can only assume.
Snow last night, snow forecasted for tomorrow, but I don't know. I'm a wee bit outside Glasgow, so I don't know if it's what it's going to be like.
Aye, well, probably not, you know, nice sunny day, right? We're still in February, so yeah. It's not morning. I'm expecting to see a few 4 lads hats out there at the very least, but nonetheless, I don't think it's going to be taps off weather just yet, even for some of the hardcore.
Get that in July.
Exactly. So yeah, it's going to be, you know, a dedicated crowd. It's going to be a crowd who are expecting to be entertained, but we've seen plenty of occasions that, you know, the fans want to get behind this team. They want to be given reasons to cheer them. We saw it the game after Russell Martin was out and Danny Roll had been appointed. We saw that the crowd's there. They want to cheer on this team because ultimately they're turning up. They're Rangers fans. We want to see our team winning. So the onus falls back on the players. I think it falls partly on the manager as well to select the right players, but the players are still the ones who've got to go out there and perform. They've got to go out and deliver. I think they are more than capable of doing so, especially with Hearts being where they are. And I really want to see an upturn in performances. Our home records has been quite good this season. I would like to see that continue.
In terms of the atmosphere, and that the point I always think is we're always slow starters on games. So after 10, 15 minutes, you feel like you're watching the same story again. So it'd been nice to get that early goal, change things up. Even see if it's not going the way you're getting an early goal, the old Kevin Thompson thing, who's getting it today? Like, know what I mean? Like something that just gets the crowd behind them, a smashing tackle, a chance, the players need to try and get the fans behind them quite early, because you'll probably find they do start off with them and then we go, oh, there's just passing football again. So we've seen it enough and we just get nervy, but it's in the title race. The fans need to really get behind the players. I think the club are pushing for that massively right now, and rightly so, because if we get behind them, it ups their level by 10-15%. So I think the fans need to be right behind them for the very start, make Ibrox a cauldron. Just like it's a European night, that's the way it needs to be for now at the end of the season. Get behind the boys all the way.
It's always going to be a reciprocal thing, that as well. Like, the fans are there, they want to cheer for this team, but if they're watching the horseshoe passing and we feel like we're dying inside, then there's no one going to be cheering that. So it all builds off each other. Like you say, even if it's not, I'm not saying go out and injure people like, Motherwell players tried to do to us. But it's still that, making sure that we are first to every second ball, making sure that we're pressing aggressively forward. If we do that, it gives the fans something to cheer for. That they want, that it's been something that, as you've said, we've talked about. The club want to see fans getting behind the team. The fans are there to do it, but the team has got to give them a reason to get behind them. And hopefully this Sunday can kick it on and we can start this running the right way and we can see some magic happen,
High energy in the park always reflects as high energy in the stands. That's the way I always see it.
Yeah. No, I completely agree, man. Listen, folks, we've talked about the Motherwell game plenty over the past few days. We know exactly what this one means to us. I believe that we will have a reaction from the Sunday show, folks, after the game. But until then, please stay following the Four Lads channels. We'll always keep you updated with everything that's going on. The support, again, always come back to it, has been immense from everyone concerned. Pushing 12,500 subscribers now on YouTube, over 700 members as well. You can sign up to that using the little QR code right up there. That gives you ad-free shows. It gets you exclusive content, all manner of stuff. And you can throw out the stickers as well. Don't talk about the stickers nearly enough, but you can always do the stickers. So I'm always a big fan of that, if nothing else. Genuinely, it blows my mind still how many folk are tuning in. Near 1,000 folk are watching me and Calvin desperately scramble around for something new to talk about this evening. And it's always quite humbling to see you guys turn up for that. So thank you all immensely. We also want to thank our sponsors. Let me do it just right off the top of the heads. Rhino Express, Clyview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, CSD Air Conditioning, our lovely friends over at Candide, local dark shop online, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Their sponsorship helps us do the things we do, helps provide advertising for the pod around the stadium. And they're a great bunch of people to work with. Genuinely, the sponsors are the wind beneath our wings, as well as everyone out there tuning in and listening or watching us. So thank you all so very much. Calvin, my friend, always a pleasure to have you on with us on Friday night. And I'm hoping your team wins this weekend.
Thanks very much, man. All aboard the Danny Roll train for this weekend, and let's get Ibrox roaring for this team. Send on 56.
Absolutely, man. Sounds fantastic to me. Folks, as ever, a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you all so very much for joining us. We hope you have a lovely weekend, and we hope that Rangers can improve it for you as well. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clyview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.